When paradise is not enough, and the human mind seeks to escape fabricated perfection, the simulation's creator, the father of the Matrix, is left with no choice but to create a new world filled with evil and torment for humanity. A world that projects our worst fears in an attempt to imprison our souls. Once upon a time, in the world of the Matrix, the machines created a literal hell filled with unspeakable horrors and trapped humanity there. And so we will explore the Nightmare Matrix once again, not because it's Halloween, but because we may be living in a literal nightmare. Welcome to Matrix Explained.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Long before Neo could stop bullets, the machines were experimenting with the human survivors of the machine war. Some of the experiments seemed straight out of a horror story. Like any good horror story, this one begins with a promise of hope for a better future. After the machines' victory over humanity, they placed the remaining humans inside gigantic machines to study them and harness their bioenergy and use it as the machine's new source of power. However, the architect discovered that they needed humans to be conscious while extracting their bioenergy. Some theories indicate that the Matrix's artificial intelligence depends on human creativity and ingenuity to continue perfecting their programming, but that is a different conversation. The machine's first idea was to create a simulated paradise. The architect researched human history and everything they have ever fantasized about as a utopia, but such design became the catalyst of all the architect's future problems. Although he believed that he understood humanity completely, the architect learned that the human essence goes beyond his calculations. Humans needed conflict. We need suffering. A perfect world like the Paradise Matrix was not credible for the human mind.
Did you know that the first Matrix was designed to be a perfect human world where none suffered, where everyone would be happy? It was a disaster. No one would accept the program. Entire crops were lost. Some believed that we lacked the programming language to describe your perfect world, but I believe that as a species, human beings define their reality through misery and suffering. So a perfect world was a dream that your primitive cerebrum kept trying to wake up from.
Humanity does not long for perfection. We need adversity to find purpose. Thus, the architect comes to a new, terrifying conclusion. Humanity doesn't want heaven, they want hell. And so the Nightmare Matrix is born.
The first Matrix I designed was quite naturally perfect. It was a work of art, flawless, sublime, a triumph equaled only by its monumental failure.
So what is the Nightmare Matrix? For starters, it was designed around a timeline much like our own, only in a constant state of conflict. There are glimpses of what this world was like in the architect's office, on the tiny TV screens on the walls. Look closely, and you can see flashes of war, dictatorships, deformed humans, burning houses, and a lot of suffering. The architect used our history of war to design this atrocious place. He took the worst moments in human history and used them as the foundation to build this simulation. Every moment of suffering, every face of terror, every scream was built into this version of the Matrix. Still, the architect wasn't satisfied with just creating a horror landscape. To make it more atmospheric, he also created new programs for the simulation that were designed around our deepest fears, ranging from mythological creatures to gothic and horror-style monsters, inspired by humanity's artistic creations. So imagine this world caught in an endless cycle of war, and also plagued by monsters such as vampires, werewolves, zombies, and ghosts. You could be minding your own business and suddenly be abducted by aliens who perform experiments on you, leaving you traumatized for life. People living in a constant state of fear without respite. Hope, peace, and mental health do not exist in this world, as the simulation is made to exploit your phobias to the fullest. The architect will find out what scares you the most, and he torments you with it until you finally break. What? You're not afraid of aliens? Then how about zombies? Watch your friends and family transform into grotesque creatures and get eaten by them. Zombies are stupid, you say? How about ghosts then, watching you every night while you sleep? Or what about werewolves howling under the full moon? Needles, bugs, heights? No matter what your phobia is, you will never escape them. We don't know how extreme the methods used in the Nightmare Matrix to keep its inhabitants in constant fear and hopelessness were, but we do know that the simulation suffered the same fate as the Paradise Matrix, albeit for different reasons. Unlike rejecting the previous simulation for its perfection, the horror simulation woke people up because the horror and suffering were too intense. Humans couldn't believe that such a horrible world existed, like waking up from a nightmare, hence the name. Ironically, those who woke up from the Nightmare Matrix ended up in a real-world nightmare. That deep sense of realization and despair would kill anyone. We believe that characters such as Persephone, the Merovingian, and their allies came from this simulation. The Merovingian's chateau, the henchmen watching a classic horror movie, the Ghost Twins, and Club Hell all point to that. We've mentioned many times that a Nightmare Matrix movie would be fun. The Matrix has experimented with the suspense and horror genres before in other media. We even made a short animated dark film years ago that we hope to remake someday. A Nightmare Matrix film would be an innovative new take on the Matrix, while also exploring the origin of the Merovingian and Persephone, and seeing clearly for the first time the architect's horrid creation. Now, there is an interesting topic that we have mentioned in previous videos that should be analyzed. The Matrix Resurrections was Neo's own Nightmare Matrix. Thomas Anderson is once again stuck in a rut with no way out, alone and far from the woman he loves. The analyst used confusion, isolation, monotony, and disassociation to keep Neo and Trinity separated and under his control. The Matrix is a tailor-made nightmare for each human. This leads us to wonder if the Nightmare Matrix ever truly ended, or was it just adapted? Today's artificial intelligence technology and virtual reality are bringing us closer to an interconnected virtual existence. Perhaps humanity's future is destined to live trapped in a paradise, or a Nightmare Matrix. But do you agree? Are we living in a paradise, or a nightmare? Happy Halloween, and thank you for watching The Desert of the Real. For Matrix Explained, please leave a like and subscribe. And thank you for visiting The Desert of the Real.